We have a big patch note to read. I'm kind of scared because I didn't think it would be this big. So now I'm kind of worried that we have to read a lot. I didn't plan on that. So I'm a little bit scared. I didn't plan to read much. Why do they do this to me? I complain. I complain that I want content, and then they give me content, and I complain about reading too much of the content. I don't think it'll be too bad. I think a lot of it is pictures or like big lists of things they've tried to fix. So I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. But the patch notes looks long. So you'd have to read it, just jump in and play. No, I want to look at the patch notes. I don't want to do because I'm not streaming on Friday, right? So you guys aren't gonna see me until Monday. Oh, there's a fly in my room. Of course there is. Yeah, you're not gonna see me till Monday, and I'm not gonna be playing on Friday, so I might not even be playing until Monday. So I want to know everything that we can try and do today. I don't want to forget anything. I am never the kind of person that just jumps into the game and doesn't look at patch notes. I'm a patch note person. I might not read it. We'll just skim through it, but you know, I want to look at it. I want to make sure we've looked at stuff. But we have drops, and I like these drops. These drops look good. I've already got mine. I got mine this morning in Oakland stream. I spent like the whole 6 hours in there today lurking. No fly in your room and your windows are shut. It's because the room behind me has like a little window that's open, and then the bathroom window is also open. So the hallway outside is just like fly central. I might not have mine open, but there are windows open. And every time you open the door in this house, there's a fly. Every time. I don't know. We have a thing on the back door now that stops flies from coming in, but you know, the UK is just like ridiculous for flies. Plus, it is 21 degrees right now. So I'm not surprised. The bugs like the heat. Also, do we need to update that? I think I might leave the follower goal. I am fed up of updating this. Every time I go live, I'm like, oh, let me update that. It changes too much when I'm not streaming that I think I'm just going to leave it. I think I'm just going to leave it. And if someone decides to unfollow or follow while I'm not live, tough. Tough. Hello, okay. How you doing? I hope your week's been good so far. We're about to just read the patch notes from yesterday and then jump into the game. Oh my, I'm good. I'm good. I played Stardew Valley this morning. Tony's not gonna like that, but I had a chill morning. Watched some YouTube and played Stardew Valley. So you're not having your window up to keep the bugs out is pointless then. No, it keeps the nasty bugs out. Okay? Because I'm not having a situation like I had in high school with the spider and the bee in the morning when I wake up and I'm disorientated and I hear them. No, thank you. It's not even that hot to have the window open anyway. I don't even care. Sorry for the delay. Sometime for my son. Ooh. Hopefully you guys have a good time. You guys have a good time. I'm not streaming on Friday because I'm actually going to the seaside or the coast or whatever you guys call it. I realize not everyone calls it the seaside, but it's basically the coast, I guess you could call it. On Friday. So Friday's cancelled for that. But I'm gonna have fun. So I'll update you guys. Stardew Valley, oh my god, how sad. It was fun. I had fun, okay. I spent like all last night and this morning playing it. I had fun, okay. I'm trying to make money in the game and I've never been able to do it before, but I'm getting there. I enjoy it. We won't be playing on stream, so you don't have to worry, Tony. I just some so far. Oh, he will. I hate the summer. I'm not the best with summer. A lot of my like health doesn't cooperate with summer. So like it's not the best, but it's been okay so far. It's been okay. So I think we'll cope. As long as it doesn't get any hotter, I'll be fine. Still sad. Well, that's just your opinion. I used to think the same thing. I used to not like it. And now I do. So I don't care. Okay? We won't be playing it on stream, so it's fine. But yeah, that was my morning and night. I played Valorant all day and then decided, you know what, I'm gonna play something not stressful. Okay. So, are you still playing PALIA? I am. We only really play it on stream now. I used to play it off stream because obviously I wasn't streaming properly, but I kind of just stick to streaming it instead of playing it off stream too much because then I have more to do on stream. If I do too much off stream and we come to stream, I'm kind of like, oh, I did everything yesterday. We have nothing to do and I have to find something to do. If I leave the gameplay to stream, then we have more to do. I think that works better. Plus, I don't get burnt out with the game either. I didn't play yesterday. Like I say, I don't really play off stream now. So we've kind of left it till today. So we're going to see if I can get myself to do fishing because I'm not the biggest fan of fishing anymore. So we're going to see if I can do a little bit of fishing and try and get some today. But I did get the armadillo plushie, I think it's called. It might not be called that, but it looks like an armadillo to me from the drops. I got my drops this morning. A drops on for you guys, by the way. I need to double check that. Let me go double check that myself. Mute. Oh my god. Drops. They're not showing. Let me have a look. Before we get into it. Wait, a drop's not on. I'm not getting the message. I don't have the drop message. That is not good. We should double check that. The Elderwood dock is where I got one. Okay. Well, we'll see. I might do it. If it's like one of the main things to do, I will do it. Otherwise, I kind of avoid fishing at all costs, to be honest. I'm not the most I don't like fishing as much as I used to. It's sad. I wish I did. But we'll see. I do want the plushies though. Okay, it's enabled, so it should be turned on. If it's not turned on, you guys can let me know. Let me get the there we go. Zoom in. We can have a little stroll. Scroll through. Have a little look at stuff. But I probably won't read it in full. Hunting is where it's at for me. Yes. Yes, same. We spent Monday stream hunting the entire time because I'm kind of obsessed with hunting. I feel like it's the most fun and relaxing thing to do. Those damn silverwing eggs are Wait, where is that on here somewhere? Let's read through it a little bit. I'm gonna skim. I won't read every word, but we'll have a look. Breezy coastal and D20 tabletop vibes. Okay. Hunt the Apex cuteness plushies. Wait, what is this? Apex of cuteness plushies. And collect Umbran decor. Wait, so we're not just getting decor given to us, we have to find it? Meet Ribbiting friends. Meet Ribbiting. Okay, we need to look through this because now I'm kind of intrigued. I have not read or seen a single thing except for the drop announcement. That was it. Even though I've been looking Oakling's stream this morning for the drops, I didn't watch because I was like, I don't want to know anything. Help your villager pals by completing 5 brand new discovery quests. 5? That's a good number. It's part of the main quest. Yeah, okay, I was going to say, we don't have to do anything with them again, right? That did take me a while to do originally. I'm kind of dreading doing it on a new account. I think I want to start a new PALIA account in the autumn. So like soon, but not yet. I think I want to do it when it's like cozy vibes because that's going to get me through it. Okay. I'm scared to do a new account and do all the bundles and stuff again because I have no sanity. But if I have a pumpkin spice candle burning, a pumpkin spice latte, and a nice blanket, right? I can do it. And a good film too. I'll get through it. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to do it properly and I need to do it properly. That's why we're doing it again. So that I have a new understanding of all the lore in the game. Otherwise, there's no point me redoing it. So I'm at work, got summoned. I'll be back. Sorry you're so short. Don't worry about it. I hope you have a good day. Hope work's nice to you. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Take a chunk out of your plush wish list while you collect some new Goofy plushies. I just, they've got to be so cute. I haven't even seen them yet. I think they may have been in the trailer, but I didn't watch it properly. Celebrate the pinnacle of Elderwood elegance with Umbran decor. Lovely. Roll a crit with fashionable new outfits. Okay, we have to look at this because I don't think I saw them in the trailer, and if I did, like I say, I wasn't paying attention because I kind of wanted to leave it till stream. Okay, we can do names or nicknames ourselves. I wonder how this works. Is there like a cooldown? Or is it just whenever? I'm interested because if it's a cooldown, it's okay. I accept that. At least I don't have to message them to do it now. There's even more bug fixes, quality of life, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Discovery quests. Best Bahari buds. Okay. Oh, hello. Once every 30 days. Thank you for letting me know that. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I think Fortnite is like 2 weeks. I'm not sure if it is, but I believe it is, or at least like the Epic Games like name that you can change. I believe it's every 2 weeks because I once changed it to the wrong thing, slightly the wrong thing, and had to hope no one took the name I wanted within like a couple of weeks period, and I got it in the end, but I was like, this is not good. Okay, so we have new little quests with the Bahari bunch, which is nice. Make sure your friendship surpasses a level 2 with these folks. Completing a level 2. I've already done that. I think I've already done that. I think everyone is level 2. If they're not, then stick around with some smugglers or sipping on some soup with the boys. Oh, sipping on some soup. Now I want soup. It's 20 degrees and I want soup. You mentioned soup, I want soup. Okay, Platinum Wedding Bells. Okay. So we have a Hadari quest. Zed drops. Zeki's boss. Okay, a Zeki quest. Kenyatta. Dreams of a night out to see the Bahari boys. Oh, is this a band or something? Wait, she doesn't have tickets, but Tish does. That's a bit odd, actually. I wouldn't have thought of Tish as being like a boy band kind of girl. I'm not gonna lie. I think she'd be a bit more like me. Used to be a boy band kind of girl, but no, not anymore. That's kind of funny. I like that. Food for thought. Jealous determined to finish his piece for his most fashion show. Okay. And Delilah. Okay, that's like a cool bunch of like little quests to get done. We could probably do some of those today. But how cute. Are they cute? They're cute. Oh my god, they're like the Ogapoos. I like them. They're so cute. They look so stupid. I like it. They're very meme. Like the Ogapoos look like very meme plushies, and I like that. Plus, we have this little guy. You guys can't see it. This little guy. I was waving my mouse around, and you can't even see the mouse. But this guy, I already have him in the pool. And the Zeki coins, which we need to open. We should probably do that. We'll water my plants, sort everything out my plot, and we'll go open the Zeki coins because we need them. We need them. Okay. So we have the River Shark and the Elder Shark plushies are swimming your way. You might even fish up their fins. You might even fish up one of their fins. What? It's just like a plush of a fin? That's a bit weird. Right? You might even fish up one of their fins. Am I reading that wrong? Zeki's Claw Machine, the Magic Market, is loaded with some positively adorable new plushies. Wait, are these from this machine? Oh, we finally have something else to strive for now. That makes me so happy. It should steal your heart and maybe your sleep schedule. Yes, they got that right. Get your Z's in with a new Slumber Fox plush. Feeling farm fresh, looking for something a little fluffier. The Trufflet plush is ready to ham it up. And the Cutesy Kitty plush, oh my god, there's 3? Oh my god. Plushy pool. Wait. So this is for the plushies. They like made a pool just for the plushies because I kind of like that. I want a whole furniture set for them now, like a miniature furniture set. That's so cute. Only found alongside a refreshing treat, the pink magic. Oh, how do we get this? We can actually get this now because that makes me happy. I was never gonna buy the is it Madeira? I don't know what it's called. I'm not gonna butcher the name. The like energy thing. I can't drink stuff like that, so I was kind of happy that we actually might get that now. Okay. Oh, it tells us. Oh, it's from Zeki's machine. Pitch from Tisha's store and unlock the craft from recipe from. Okay. So these aren't going to be too difficult, hopefully. Hopefully. Oh, there is actually a Thin. We have a plush of a Thin. I like that. That's a meme again. I like that. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but here, if I get a plushie and it's a Thin, I'll take it. Okay. Oh, yeah. We got like the little bungalow and everything with a big bungalow. It's not even little, it's kind of big. I'm here for it. So we have, basically, it's the staples. I'm calling it a bungalow because not a bungalow. Why am I saying bungalow? I don't mean bungalow. What's the word? It's not bungalow. That's literally a house. You guys know what I mean. Gazebo. The gazebo, because we like the gazebos. The gazebos are really nice, and you could do some cute things with them. So how many of these do we have? We have to find them. Oh no, they're just crafted from. Okay, that's fine. I was like thinking that these were gonna be, you know, like something we had to find again because they were like, go and find it. I'm like, please don't make me do that again. But we're all good. We're all good. Self-service name change once every 30 days. Full name and nickname. And they'll both unlock after. Okay, so if you change either, they will only be able to be done after the 30 days no matter what. Oh, cute. I do have a record player, but I don't use it. I'm not really a record collector. If I was anything, I'd probably just collect CDs for the novelty of it. I have 2 collectors up there, but I'm not about to go buy this. I'm not. I love the idea of it because it's so cute. Just even for decoration, but I already know that this is not going to be like cheap. So I keep fishing just for that stupid mouse shark for the relic, so I may end up with a few plushies by the time I get it. Let's go. Let's go. You'll get there. You'll get the plushies. I'm manifesting. You'll get them. You might get more than I do. I don't know if I'll get any. We do seem to get good luck with fish, but I don't know if fishing for plushies is a good thing for me. I don't know if I will, but we'll see. By the looks of it, I might be doing some fishing though, because I don't know if there's too much to do other than the quest. So we'll see. Okay. Adjustments and improvements. Deco items start up to 30 or higher if they already did to help creative players spend less time running around. Yeah. See, this bugged me a lot. When you're making the paths, you can only do like 100 at once, I think. And that annoys me like crazy because putting like little wooden circles down that are like this small, right? Or like this small, they take so long. And you have to go back and pick them back up again. No, very annoying. That's if I don't jump out the window. Oh, are you that bored right now? Oh my god. I mean, fishing really isn't my favorite thing anymore, but I think if I know I'm gonna get a cute shark out of it, I'll do it. I'll do it. Muskin spot for all decor. Muskin can now be used for all recipes that require leather. Brilliant. Not like in mild, but brilliant, you know? I do a lot of hunting. I pretty much have leather like crazy. It doesn't even matter. Grow storage UI, growable flowers, decoration icon the UI to indicate that. Oh, yes! Yes! I'm so happy about that. Every time I do flowers, I'm like, are they even done yet? I have no idea like what stage they're at. It's kind of a little bit annoying. I live in the bungalow, strip out the window won't hurt. It might hurt. A little bit. Oh god. Oh my god, this GIF is annoying me like crazy. Okay. Tints, inventory, and storage. Decorate as tinted pile with no shut. Thank you. I love quality of life things like this. Makes this so much better. Oh, Honeyla has been rebalanced and normalized across multiple locations. Did they stop them being made with apples? Because I would appreciate that. I'm going to assume they didn't, but hey, you know. Oh, God. Okay, several new outfits available immediately. Wait, that's kind of a cool outfit. That's kind of a cool outfit, I'm not going to lie. I won't use it because it's more of like a masculine type of outfit, but it's kind of nice. How much is it though? 2,550? That's insane. But it is nice. I think a lot of people have been asking for more like male skin type outfits, so that's cute. Pin a dancer. How much are these? Oh, that's not that's a little bit of a cheaper one, but the pink's kind of cute. The pink's kind of cute. Not a big fan of the hats. I'm never a fan of hats in this game. If it's frog related, I'll wear it. But these are not my favorite. But this is cute. And then you could pair this with like the ballerina socks and like the little shoes that come with that. What is this? Who are you? Mimic? Hello? Wait, I kind of like him. I kind of like him. And there's 3 versions. We're gonna have to look at this. New glider. Does this match the summer? Yeah, the summer splash stuff. Okay, so that matches the tool skins that they already have. Cool. And more tool skins that I will not be buying because I don't really like blue. And a new landscape. Okay. I'm gonna have to look at the landscapes for the next week or two and just like figure out if I even like them enough to buy them because there are now 2 kind of Elderwood inspired ones. And I kind of want one, but I don't want to buy both. You know? I don't know. Either that or I'll just buy the wooded one, finally. But they're so expensive. I don't know. We'll see. New emote. I don't want to buy emotes. I bought so many emotes in Fortnite that I feel stupid buying them in other games now too. So I kind of regret buying some emotes on Fortnite. So this though is tempting. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of tempting. Like look at him. I don't know. That's just a meme and a half. Oh my god, it's like a brownie uniform. Oh my god. This looks like my old brownie uniform without the sleeves. That's actually really funny. I think this could be really, really cute. I hope if there's a green version of it, I will be very happy. And it's one of the cheaper ones too. That makes me happy. Is this a new version of the butterfly? It's a dark version. Ooh. Okay. We'll have to have a look at that. Because this is kind of nice. Oh no. Oh no. There's a new tool skin pack for the Elderwood. It's kind of cute. It's kind of cute. Oh no. And there's a glider that goes with it. It's a good job I'm not the biggest fan of purple. So it used to be. If we go back about 10 years from now, this would have been, I would have needed it like instantly. That is so cute. Can we get like something like this, but like make it frog or mushroom themed somehow? Something like this, but with like moss and like red mushrooms on it. I'd buy it. I'd buy it in an instant. Is that everything? These are all the fixed things. Oh, known problems. Oh god. You know when the known issues are probably longer than the fixed bugs? Yeah, that's not great. Let me get the game up. Hopefully the things that are broken are not terrible. Because that would be great. That would be great. Also, I just realized something. Do I have like... Oh, let's put the... Oh, it's on. I think. Is it on for this? Yeah. Okay. Where is my chat thing? No, okay. I was like thinking maybe I could do something with the chat on the full screen, but I don't think I can. Every time I go off it, it resets the chat, so it looks like no one's talking in chat, even though there are people in chat. I don't know how to do that. We'll leave it. I'm waiting for the game to load up now. I probably should have done this before stream, but I don't like having the game, OBS, Spotify, programs, and Chrome open all at the same time. So we're gonna wait a minute or two, but it's fine. I do like the new landscape. Is it better than the other Elderwood one? Or do we like the one better? I like the wooded... Oh my god, get out of my room! Honestly. What is it? The wooded one. I don't know what it's called. The one with like the river. I like that one. That one's my favorite one. But it's also the cheapest. But do you know what's cheaper? I'm not buying any of them. I think I'll have to not buy them until I actually do decorate properly. When I fully start getting into decorating, like, and I mean properly doing it, like, I have to be like an actual plot that people are like, oh, I like your plot. It's nice. Thank you. I spent a lot of hours on it. And I'll buy it. Otherwise, I feel kind of stupid buying it. It's expensive, you know? I have it set for a storage spot so you can come look if you want. Ooh. Maybe. Maybe. We're gonna look in the store anyway. I'll see if I like it yet. Wait. I might not even like it. But we'll have a think on it. But let's go have a little look here. Oh no. Why is it showing me mushrooms? Are there mushrooms? Like, are these built in? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, this is cute. Uh-oh. Wait, oh wait, I haven't even got the game up. Hello? There we go. There we go. Okay. I'm like, look at this, it's so cute. It's not even on stream. Is this built in? Because if like this is built in, that is so cute. I might just have to eventually get it. If I get it, it'll be this weekend. It will not be today. But like this one is also super cute. You definitely could decorate on these pretty well. Like the way that they look is just so much different to the like original plot that you could do so much more with them. I'm not a fan of the other ones too much. It's these two I think I want, but then obviously these ones keep coming out and I'm like, now I want those. So there's 4 that I might want, but I don't want to buy them all. I'm looking at it and then decide if I want to buy it or not. I won't be buying it until the weekend anyway. Like, I like this one with the river. Right? With like the little river. That's so cute. I might come and look at it. I don't want to end up wanting it. That's my problem. If I come over and I'm like, oh, I love it. I won't buy it until the weekend though, because I have to give myself like a couple of days to want something to see if I really want it. Otherwise, I just buy it on a whim and I end up not liking it at all. Also, this is hilarious. Oh my god, my character looking like a... Wait, I love that. It's so funny. Okay. Let's look at the other outfits. There are different versions of this. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the hat. But also, do these come together? I think you can take them off. Yes, you can. Okay. Okay. Oh, the blue is really pretty. Is there a proper green one? No, there isn't. Not really. Not like a full green one. That just means I won't be buying it. Which is good. At least you'll know if you want to buy it or not. Yeah. Yeah. I might do. We'll see. I'll do other stuff first and then I may take your up on your offer. What else is there? Is there anything else that's just not in the shop yet? Or are they just like in the wardrobe? I have a feeling they're not out yet and they're in the wardrobe, right? I think. Because they would be on here. Oh, I didn't even realize this was here. I'm not gonna lie. Like the like list thing you can look through. Is there only one of this? Why can't we even look at it properly? Oh, there he is. Hi. It's not gonna show me properly. That's kind of a bit weird, but okay. He's cute though. I kind of like him. Okay, those are the outfits, I think. I think the other ones might be in the wardrobe, so I might have to go and look at it. Here they are. This guy with the moss on him. Aw, I kind of like him. I kind of like him. Cute. And then the new glider matches this set, I think. And this is one of the new emotes. It's kind of useless to me, so I won't be buying it. But, you know. Like, I haven't bought a single one of these because I feel like they're not worth it. This one is kind of funny, though. I do kind of like this one. Like, who came up with the idea to put this in this kind of a game? So weird. And then this. Kind of like the idea of it. It's kind of funny. But I think that's it, unless we go to the wardrobe and have a little look at the other one that is not out yet. I'm kind of hoping there's a green version of it. But I have a feeling that there won't be. Oh god, I don't know what it's called. It's called Dark or something, like Dark something. Oh, there it is. That one. Okay, there's only 3 colors. None of them are green. And it looks so much like the other one, except for this purple one that looks so good. The one I already have is very similar to these two. But I don't think I'll get it. But the purple is so cute. Look at those wings. Oh my god. But yeah, I already have... I think it was the first skin I bought, maybe? Oh no, this was the first one I bought. The green one. But this is the one it already looks like. You know? It looks like this one. Kinda like this one. And then this one, I think. I think that's what I'm thinking of. Oh, this. This is what everyone looks like. So it's not really worth it. Honestly, I feel like they're too similar. We don't have any new hair. Oh, hello. Jump scare. And these the hats or something? These the new hats? They're like masks, right? Oh my god. Zoom out. Please zoom out. Why is she so close to me? Oh my god. I don't like that. Go away. And then do we have new hats? These are from the new set. These are actually kind of cute. I like the hats more than I like the actual outfit. And then with the fairy one, the butterfly one, I think I'm not even sure if there is one for that. Yeah, if there is, I have no idea which one it is. And I think that's the only new outfit that wasn't already in the shop. Could be wrong. Could be wrong, but I'm leaving it at that anyway. Let's go on my pants before I forget. Because that's the first thing I need to do. These plants were not watered yesterday. I easily could have done them, but I didn't. What time is it? Okay. We can do this and leave them a little bit. It'll be good. That one doesn't need doing, so that's good too. Okay, I need to just... It's so tiny! Oh my god. It's so small. Let's look. Oh my god, wait. What do you mean turn on? There's actual water in this? Wait. Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. Look at him. Okay, I am kind of obsessed. I might need like 50 of these. Because I actually love that. You can stay there for now. Okay, let me check on these as well. Should have a little bit of money from these. 12. Oh, I got 12 of these. 30 of them. Ooh. That looks like it could be a decent amount of money. 15k. Finally. Finally getting somewhere. Do I have any apples though? I have no apples and I have no blueberries. Yay. Oh, not again. I need to do like an absolute load of them. Never full a tree. Oh, we got one apple tree. Only one. I don't know if I put any in here. No, I did not. We have seeds, but not apples. We have 2 apple trees. Okay. 2 apple trees? That's okay. I like the new landscape is constantly dark, so there's no daylight there at all. Ooh. See, I feel like if I was going to buy the Elderwood ones, I feel like they would be for certain builds, you know? They wouldn't be in general. They would have to be like for certain stuff. Like I could make like a certain type of a plot. It wouldn't be like my regular plot. Ooh. Wait, we just got a sticker pack. I feel like you would have to do like a certain type of decor for it. In my opinion. It doesn't have to be, you know? It's just kind of like my kind of a vibe for it. Okay, I could put one more there. Water that. And then... Oh, we gotta water this one too. Just forget about that one. That would annoy me if it didn't grow at the same time. Okay. Have these. Let's open this. I got a new one! I got a new one! Yes. Finally. Are these Zeki coins or are these prize wheel? These are prize wheel. I wonder what my my look's gonna be. Hang on. I wonder what the look is gonna be for that. Is it gonna be good or is it gonna be terrible? Only time will tell. We'll go check. We will go check. Let's put them in. Then we have loads of leather to do. How much? Oh, I need to sell some of this. We need to sell some of that. That is accumulating like crazy. Like, I almost have like absolutely no storage from that. That is insane. No way. Okay. I think we already sold. Oh, no, we didn't. We have like a couple minutes. Sell all of that. Make a little bit of money. I like that. 23k. 23k. I think that is everything that we need to do. I don't think there's anything else I need us to do. We're like down on this, but we can get that pretty easy, so it's fine. And I don't... Oh wait, maybe we should do a little bit of that. I think everything else I'll leave. Or we'll leave it for now, and then we can start collecting it all again. We are getting to a point. The only thing I need is to get up to date on apple trees. Because I think the only way I can do it is spending money on them, and I don't want to buy them because they're expensive. But yeah, I only have 705. I'm not buying anything. Wish you could build over our plot. Like, over it? You could build over. All over. I missed out the word. Oh my god, the word did not exist. All over. I wish you could build until, like, you went past this. That would make sense to me. You know, like, until you go through the gate, you can build. Like, I can put something here. I can move this. Let me move my boards. They're not in a place I like. This would be better here. Right? Like, it bugs me that I... Look. Why can't I move it? I can highlight it, but I can't do anything with it. Extremely annoying. Extremely annoying. Okay. Maybe I should have fast traveled, but it's fine. It basically takes the same time to fast travel or walk down a hill to get to Zeki, so it's not too big of a deal. I was going to do the prize wheel. In fact, I just realized we're 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Oh, it's 5. We have 5. I did think these were Zeki plots. Zeki plots? I read the word plot as I was thinking about that. Zeki coins. And they're not. But it's fine. You know, they didn't want to give us coins for the new plushies. I get it. I get it. It's a little bit annoying though. But let's go do these quickly. And then we can get on with the update. I don't know if we want to go fishing first or if we should go and do the quests. Maybe we should see what the quests are. But it did say I needed level 2 friendship. And I don't know if I have level 2 friendship with some people. Level 2, 3, 2, 2. Oh, we might be okay. I think I have level 2 except for the new kid. So that's fine. We should be good. Prize wheel. Let's see. Fireworks. Lovely. I need to move my camera back too. Fireworks! Oh my god! Don't troll me. Thank you. Do not give me another pink bag. Don't give me a pink or a blue bag. Okay, that'll do. That'll do, it's fine. Damn it! You're only gonna give me 100 and 200 gold. That is the biggest troll ever. There is no way that they truly said, we're gonna give you 10 of these coins. I'm gonna give you 2 lots of fireworks, 300 gold, and then green onion. It really knows about the green onion thing. Not the green onion thing. That's too stupid. Like, what? Hello? It's like I'm seriously being trolled. Like, what? Honestly, we're gonna sell them. That's the one time I'm gonna sell them. I'm mad. Okay. Oh, we're at 350k. That's nice. We're back up into the 300,000s. Yeah, there's nothing I want, I don't think. No. There's nothing. Okay. Twitter is absolutely crazy these days. I tweet about going live and I get like, I think 10 followers from bots. What is that? Is that one person with like different accounts? What do they even get out of it anyway? I never understand that. I don't understand what people get out of making bot accounts to just follow random people. I don't get how that's a thing. I wish I knew. Okay, if I go on the map. Okay, they're actually highlighted. Because I don't think right now these are all kind of like fishing or cooking. That one isn't. And he gives me an apple seed. We should probably do that. I should probably do that. I have that. I should probably go get them. Gives me an apple seed. I need 1 apple seed. That would probably make sense. We'll go do that. I should have the items. I could have sworn I already did this quest though. Maybe it's bugged or I just have like millions of stages to it. What do I need? 10 of each? Wait, what does this mean? What does the flower thing mean? That's very confusing now. Like, here, we did something to show you what stage they're at. No context. I don't know what these little things mean. I have no idea what they mean. That is so confusing. And the view now is so cluttered, I cannot find what I'm looking for. We only have 6? Or it's Blair Daisy, never mind. Briar, not Blair. Briar. Okay, never mind. Is this them? Yeah. There we go. Let's go find him. Get my damn apple seed. Didn't realize he was going to give me an apple seed for it. Should have done that a long time ago. Also, I just realized I don't have the right thing up on my stream deck. That would not have been good. Oh, he's so far away. Why is he always so far away when I need him? Very annoying. They're at the stables whenever I need him. But when I don't need him, he's like running into me all the time. Sounds about right. I think ads are going to begin soon. Very annoying. Oh. I do kind of panic about when I'm starting stream to do with the ads because I feel like if I start on time, I'll know when they're about to happen. But if I start like a random time, I have no idea when they're going to go off. Oh, is he in the kitchen? Why do they not have a back door? Why do they only have... Oh, he's in his bedroom, I think? Or is he downstairs? I was going to the bedroom and then he ends up being down here. Are you here? You are. Hello.
Ani said great things about you.
Here you go. Oh, I just realized it's covering the name now because of the thing. It's okay. That'll be fine. It's not covering like any of this, so it's okay. Save me a ton of time. Well, maybe not my time, but your time. You're gone. I whipped up some of their favorite desserts for them too. Matt always says you can't be mad when you're full. I'll let you know how it goes afterwards. I promise this is the last time you save my...
Next time, let's talk carrots.
Oh my god, I've just realized how much he sounds... Wait, he kind of sounds a little bit like Flynn Rider. Or Eugene, should we say. I never realized that. That's kind of cool. Okay, we have apple seeds. Let's go plant it real quick. And then we can get started with new stuff. So we are an hour in. We're an hour in and I have not done much yet. I could play off stream, but I kind of like to put the new updates on stream and then I can do it again. Like any of the new stuff off stream that I've already done. I don't like doing stuff I haven't done on stream yet. So I don't want to do any of the new quests or like try and get the fish or anything. The plushies or anything. If I do anything when I'm not streaming, it's probably just like skill related stuff. But even then, if I get a plushie and I'm not live, that kind of makes me sad. That kind of makes me sad because I can't celebrate with anyone. I like celebrating with people. Be like, yeah, we got a plushie together. Nope. I wasn't even streaming. Wait, what else did he give me? Did he give me something else? I didn't get anything else from that. Well, that sucks. Oh well. I have 10 seeds as well, which I'm probably just gonna put... Oh, we have 16. I put 10 in and save 10. What happened to my trees? Oh my god, they broke the game again. Oh no. All of my trees have like a big hole in them. Oh, no, these ones. Just these ones. Who did that? Who did that? My god. Ew, I have so many eggs and nothing to do with them. Can we display them? Probably not, because they're not starred, right? I have nothing to do with them. Look, I have 3 of these, 2 of these, 4 of those. Like, I have nothing to do at all with them. They're just kind of like gonna sit there forever. Okay. So, I think... What's on here? We have... Delilah. Is it Hadari that one of them's for? Gel. Kenyatta. Oh, wait. We need to do certain people's friendships, actually. I think. No, Hadari's level 3 and he doesn't have one. Maybe it's because I haven't done the quest room yet. Explore things for the rest new patch. Never can you say such things. Yeah, I just didn't expect trees to have a gaping hole in them. On one side. That's the funny thing about it. I did not expect that for some reason. That was the thing I didn't expect. So that's funny. But yeah, for some reason, I don't have Hadari's quest popping up. Or Zeki's. For some reason, I don't know why. I've definitely done his quest. So I don't know why. But who do we start with? I'm thinking... So we either I'm fishing, which we could probably start doing after this ad break, maybe, because I think if I get one and we're on an ad, I will be upset. Because ads are going to begin in like the next like couple of minutes, and if I get one that quick, it'd be great, but if no one can see it, that's not good. Other than that, I'm thinking like doing the Kenyatta quest, because I think that's kind of a funny quest. Like, hey, you got tickets? Can I have them? Can I go with you? I know we're not really close, but like, can I have the tickets? It's my plot we booked for over 6 months after the release of the Paltech furniture. Good thing I don't like the Paltech stuff, huh? Good job I don't like them. There we go. There are the ads. Okay, we are gonna go talk to Kenyatta about the tickets. I'm super itchy right now. I don't know what it is. I think the pollen might be quite high. So if you see me itching, I promise I don't have like something wrong. I'm just like super itchy. I think it's a hair fever thing. Hello, girl.
Here to rescue me from my
How you doing? What happened? Oh, the worst thing that happened to anyone ever. He was in Bahari City for the sub-council meeting when the tickets... Oh, that is a lot of words. When the tickets for the Harry Boys tour went on sale, he promised he'd get them for me, but he only stood in line for 3 hours in advance instead of 6. And I missed out on the tickets. Me, but with Eras tour tickets. At the time, I made and put just one thing down, and that was it. One? Have they not fixed it with the update? Because that's insane. 6 months of that? That is ridiculous. At least he tried. Tried and failed. If I want to go, I'm going to have to do some digging for some scalp tickets. Girl, I don't trust them. I wouldn't trust them. Or maybe you will. This is like me paying like... Why is she clapping? Why is she clapping like a seal? Calm down. Oh my god, I can't. What is that? It was fixed a while ago, but it was originally booked for over 6 months. Oh, okay. That is ridiculous though. 6 months? Like, it took about, what, 2 or 3 months for the the bag glitch that I had to be fixed. But I forgive them because it was just when the game came out, so I kind of got it at the time. It was a little bit annoying. I was very annoyed. but I forgive them for that because it was the busiest time the game had ever been. But the Paltech thing is insane. 6 months, the whole thing was bugged from one item. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. That was like with Raz's plots when the bug came out with the Elderwoods, whatever it was, and every one of his plots was bugged. And we didn't know that time. It was like an hour or two after that they were like, yeah, don't move anything. Oh my god. And he moved things. I felt terrible. Close to 7 months. Yikes. That's like half the time the game has been out. Oh my god, I'm glad they sorted it though.
It's nice to see you around.
I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get sleepy. Sam. Actually, you're not going to believe it, but Ref surprised me with a pair. She only has 2. I guess having connections with the Gremlin and Underground can actually pay off once in a while. I haven't decided who to ask yet, but actually, I'd love for you to join me if you're free. I'd love to go, but I am not going to be allowed to. I'm more into pages and nights. Bahari Boys sounds good, but pages to nights. I don't know about that one. I was asking for Kenyatta. I didn't even get an option to go. Ads begin. No. It was happening at the worst time. Like, they're not going to give me an option. They're not going to give me an option to be like, hey, yeah, I would love to go. Thank you. I'll repay you with something, you know? No? Is that not an option? I want to go see the Bahari Boys. I don't know. I was asking for Kenya. Kenya is into Bahari Boys. I never imagined. I love to go with her. We never get to spend much time together. Every time I try to have a girls chat, she says she's busy and walks away. Must be all the stress of working for her mum. I made and put one of the big PALIA grills down on the floor and didn't get it like it, so I picked it back up and tried to put the mat I took back down and couldn't. Yikes. The fact that you didn't even like it and you wanted to pick it back up to get rid of it. It's not even like you tried to put all the furniture down and then it created a problem. You didn't even like it, so you tried to pick it back up and the game was like, nope. My god. That would have been me with a wheelbarrow with the leaves if it wasn't for, I think it was Raz. I think it was Raz that like tested it for like an hour or something while I was streaming. It was like, hey, I found a fix for you and came over and helped and fixed it. I would have been so annoyed. I could not do anything with it. And at the time I had 1 plot, so I couldn't do anything with wheelbarrow and I didn't want it there. Once I lock my plus, I'll have to ask if they want to make matching light sticks. You can't go to Bahari Boys like, okay. I'm assuming this is a K-pop band of some kind, you know? The light sticks. I'm not a K-pop fan, exactly, like, but I know some of the stuff when it comes to it, and I know light sticks and stuff like that are a big thing. Hello! Did you know that the kind of hat knows a lot about that? You know how to make an entrance. Hello.
Shine on, superstar.
Okay. Shine on, superstar. She reminds me so much of Rapunzel and I love it every time I speak to her. Someone definitely works at Singularity 6 that loves Tangled because there is no way that they created her and didn't think of Rapunzel. She looks just like her. And the flower on her choker is literally the flower from... Why is he sleeping in here? It's literally the flower from Tangled. Ridiculous. You're definitely thinking what happened to Hello, how are you? Yeah, I don't know what happened to that. Must have... Wait. He's not here. It's bugged again. God. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Must have never been a thing. I don't think you even say that anymore. Hello? How are you? I don't mind it. I think it's funny. A funny entrance is better than a boring one. It's either that or you say like howdy or something. He should be in here. He should be in here. And if he's not in here, then they broke the game more. There we go.
What you buying?
Hey, pal, this is a little embarrassing, but can you tell I'm missing a patch of fur on top of my head? I don't think so. I got a little stress related. Oh, I tried to fix it with a lick over, but I'm afraid it still shows. Okay, I secretly love Zeki though. I do secretly love him. I best get the Joe approval for my fit video. Oh. Wait, have you posted it? Wait, I don't follow you on that account. Where's my other account? Have you posted one? Nah, not yet. Okay. She'll probably like it anyway. She's been trying to pick out an outfit for Friday when we go to the seaside. And she keeps coming in being like, does this one look alright? Don't worry, you look great. The lick over makes it look worse. What's stressing you out? Can you lick my hair? I swear that this option is supposed to be like, you're high. Because everything that this option says is so... don't worry, you look great. Here's no, I just want to say to make a fellow purr. Who am I kidding? The real problem ain't my hair, it's my boss. Oh, he wants to make me break into Ish's office to take her official magistrate seal. Oh, don't do that. I have no idea how I'm going to manage. Ish's eyes already follow me around everywhere like I'm guilty of stealing smiles off the faces of children. You can see the whole fit this time too. This morning when taking it, I was thinking, I hope Joe likes this. I love that. I love that. She loves your outfits, honestly. Anytime I've shown her something or she's like, you posted a picture, she's like, did you see his outfit? It looked really cool. You guys are like besties now. You could just say no. I'll do it for you. Why does he want the seal? Seal frowns instead. You could just say no. To Zed, you clearly haven't met the guy. He had his claws reinforced with pallium. Besides, he already wants a seal for a good reason. There's a gremlin and kittens in Bahari City that's sick. And while it ain't strictly illegal to ship the medicine in, it's made with flow, so it needs government approval. Oh, I feel terrible now. The Duchess didn't believe the sob story about the gremlin and kids. She thought that Zed was up to something nefarious. This is so funny. Every time the game uses the word nefarious, I get like flashbacks. They use the word nefarious so often that when my name was nefarious, I couldn't read what they were saying properly because I thought they were referring to me. Because that was my old PALIA name. It's still my name and everything else, so it's so weird when I see it. Oh no, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, nefarious. I only have 3 U's because everyone else took the normal word. So she refused to sign the shipping order, won't even grant him an audience. Dev wants to forge this order, but he needs the Bahari family seal, and the other one I know of is locked up in Ash's desk. I always wanted to break into Ash's desk. We have to save the kittens. Alright, let's go to Ash's office when she's not there and use the enchanted lockpick on her drawer. It should open right up. Have you got a lead on Bahari Boys tickets yet? Not only do I got a lead, but I got 2 tickets, front row center. I love him. I love Zed. Zed? I don't love Zed. I love Zeki. Okay, I do. Sometimes I don't trust him. He's got 2 front row tickets, center, to a sold out show that sold out in less than 3 hours. I don't know if he's being serious. 100K? Hell no. I am not fooling around, pal. These tickets aren't a one hot commodity. Like, bro, come on. I suppose I could cut you a deal. I've got a zoo in Bahari that's been begging me for an... What? I don't know what that says. Mermaid. He's willing to pay twice what those tickets are worth. You bring me that mermaid and you get me.
Come back for some good deals, pal.
Why do we have to do so much fishing? What's going on over here? Oh, why do we have to do so much fishing? I hate fishing. It's a good job we're doing some fishing today. At some point, at least. Because, otherwise that would not have been done. But, like, surely I could just do the Bahari family seal and that'll be it. You give me the tickets, right? Let's see. Oh my god. Every time you do the shroom, you do the hydrate. Every time. Without a doubt. Appreciate you for making my throat not hurt. I've been having like a dry throat recently, and when I start streaming, I'm like, oh, I need to drink before I speak because my voice goes. Not good. So I haven't made it unlimited. I need you to stay hydrated constantly. If I drink too much, I will die. The reason why I'm not going to make it unlimited is because it will literally damage me if I do. If someone comes in and says that, like, it will literally be a problem. I can't drink too much water, but I also can't not drink too much. Do you know what I mean? Like, I need, like, over 3 liters a day. But I already drink half of that before stream. If I come on stream and you guys make me drink, like, 3 liters, I'm dead. Okay? Like, you're gonna drown me internally. How do you know when you've had enough then? I only drink 1 liter per hour. And I don't drink more than like 5 liters a day. Because that works fine for me. It's kind of about how much I have. So, we're not doing unlimited. Okay? I literally have it in my description. Hey, I have pots. Read up on it. That's why I don't have it. Like unlimited, because that would be stupid. Can't believe you actually got a pause on this thing. I could cause all kinds of mayhem with this. Oh, it's for the kids. Viva la revolution. Wait, what? Relax, kid. We are 100% in this for the kittens, but you can't blame a guy for daydreaming. Fair enough, fair enough. Anywho, next thing's next. Zed gave me the dead drop location, and it's in the Elderwoods. That place spooks the bejeebus out of me, so I was hoping you could do the drop. Of course.
Thanks for the visit, pal.
Yeah. Guy doesn't want anything. Unless it involves me basically getting myself into danger. Elderwood's already supposed to be, like, dangerous. Like, why are you making me go back? Postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. So, POTS. As in pots and pans. When I tell people, hey, I have POTS, they go, what? They have no idea what I'm saying. It's like, I have pots? Oh, you have pans as well? Such a dad joke thing. That's why I'm struggling to breathe a bit right now. I get like this sometimes with it, where like my breathing's a bit labored. So it feels like I can't really breathe properly. But I just try and ignore it. It's just extremely annoying. So you can remember it for like cardio being like cardio, and that increases your heart rate. It means, it quite literally translates to like, when I'm upright or go from laying down to sitting up or sitting down to standing up. So when I change posture, I have an orthostatic difference that causes tachycardia, which is heartbeat over 100 at rest. So every time in the past where I was like, hey, my heart rate just shot up from playing Fortnite or something, I was serious. It was like bad. It was bad. Her room is so cool. This is such a rich kid's room. Like, So how do you sleep then? I'm on medication. I'm on medication now. And when it's just basically like you go from laying down to sitting up or sitting up to standing up or something. You just have to give it a minute because my heart rate shoots up. But if I give it a minute, it'll come back down. But sometimes it doesn't. But I'm on medication. So my heart rate when I'm asleep is like 50. I'm being mad personal. No, I actually like people asking that because it's like I'm educating you on it. I like it. I like educating people on it. It's a very like unknown thing. I really don't mind talking about it at all. That's why I have it on my account because I realized it's like something that needs to be spoken about. All the things I have in the description in my panels, like I have them there because I want people to know about it. Like what position do you sleep in? I just fucking lay down. You're like, how do you sleep? Like that. What? I can lay down. It's okay to lie down. It doesn't matter. It's just when you stand up, you gotta be careful. I can stand up right now and like it wouldn't affect me too much depending on how my body is right now. I just have to stay stood still and like hold on to something or have somewhere to fall. I've never fainted before, but I've been very close. When I got diagnosed, I think I did faint for like 2 seconds. The sit-ups are not a good idea then. I can't even do sit-ups anyway, but they would be torture. Like, actual torture. But when they do a tilt table test to diagnose it, they lay you down flat like this, and then they do this within like a split second, and they keep you upright, basically stood up, but attached to a table for an hour. And then your heart rate shoots up, your blood pressure goes up and down, or whatever else does, and all the symptoms set in, and you probably faint. And that's how you get diagnosed. It's like torture. Can you imagine if you had to sleep in your gaming chair? That wouldn't be too bad. I don't have a gaming chair. I have an actual office chair. This can go back, like if I want it to. And I have a footrest on it. I can literally sleep here if I wanted to. It wouldn't be comfortable. I wouldn't sleep, but I could. I remember you telling me it sounded like modern day torture. It literally is. Doctors usually don't like to send you for them, but it's one of the easiest ways of getting diagnosed. If a doctor listens to you, then you can get diagnosed like that. My doctors didn't listen to me about it for like 3 years, so I had to fight for the test. But here, I got a diagnosis now. It just means I've got to be careful with standing still for too long or standing up quickly or going up and down stairs with exercise, but I'm good now. I'm not bad at all. I used to be terrible. When I said to you when we were playing Fortnite all those years, like, it was really, really bad. We would be playing and my heart rate would be like 80, which is okay. Anything below 100 is fine when you sat still. When we would win a game of Fortnite, Jack, my heart rate would be like 150 for no reason. Need to go now. It's actually really interesting. Good. You learned something. Bye-bye. I hope the rest of your day is good. Thank you for asking the questions, though. I actually do appreciate that. I don't mind talking about these things. I wish people would ask questions more, to be honest. I gotta educate some people. See, I can have normal conversations. I know you can. Okay, we're gonna continue the quest. Becky wants a rare, expensive mermaid in exchange for the tickets, and Tish wants to spend time with me. I already know what she's gonna say. Can I not do the mermaid? If I pick the right thing, do I not have to do the mermaid? That would be amazing. What's wrong with Tish? Look, don't get me wrong, Tish is fine, but it feels like we have nothing in common. Every time I talk, I just blank. I have nothing to say. Stare silently into her eyes. Yeah, that's great. You both like Bahari boys. Exactly. I guess that's true. It's hard to judge something for being basic when I'm in the BB army. See, I told you it was K-pop related. I do it. It's like B-pop. It's like Britpop, but it's just B-pop. We call Britpop Britpop, not B-pop. So we can call this B-pop, Bahari pop. But that army thing, you already know that that's like a K-pop reference. I'm not even a K-pop stan, and I know these This is common knowledge, right? Am I just chronically online? I think I'm chronically online. I guess I could think about going with Tish. What would she want in return? I can't just let her give me the tickets. She mentioned matching light sticks. That might be tough. I have a signature edition black pearl light stick I bought at the concert last year, and you better believe I'm going to take it. So unless you can find a pearl for Tish. Are you kidding me right now? What are the chances I get a pearl or a mermaid? Which one's easier? Two extremely difficult things to find. And I need one. Now, I don't mind hunting for the black pearl. I do mind fishing for the mermaid. Because it's you have to fish for the mermaid, right? Or is it... Wait. Is it the relic mermaid? Because if it is, I have one. Maybe we do that. Hang on. I'm going to double check before I say which one. Because if I have the mermaid... You have to fish for it? Oh, which one do I do? Pearl or mermaid? I was going to say if it's the relic one, that would have been fine. I have two. Oh, God. I don't know which one to do. I don't have a mermaid, I don't think, and I don't have a pearl. But the pearl is so hard to find. I've gotten two before, I think, but I haven't got any since, and people are complaining about how difficult it is to find. I feel like I would much rather try and get a pearl than get a mermaid, but I need two pearls. That's the problem, because I need it for the courier pet too, I think. I'll gift you one. How many have you got? Don't give me one if you only have like two. Don't give me one if that's all you've got. Because they're not easy to find. Like, I've seen people complain like crazy that they just like, oh, I can't do it because of this. Like, I have four now. Are you sure? Are you sure? I could just try and find one myself. Only if you're sure. I don't wanna take things. I'm awful with accepting help for people. Either way, I'm gonna do a pearl. I'm not fishing. I'm not fishing any more than I need to. No, thank you. Wouldn't have offered if I wasn't? Okay. I don't like saying, does anyone want to help? I'm not one of those streamers that's gonna go live and go, guys, I need help with this thing. Can someone do it for me? Like, I don't want to do that. I want to try at least, but if you're willing to, I would appreciate it, but I just feel bad. I feel bad asking for things. We did this with the relics, but you guys all helped. Wait, you can't gift it? Or is it in the wrong thing? Where do we get it? In here, wait. Can I search? I can't find it. It's not in here. I don't think you can gift it. I don't think it's a giftable thing. Yeah, I don't think it's a giftable thing. So many things you can gift, but not the black pearl. Try the flower tab. It's not on here. There's the white one, the green one. That's it. I've definitely had one before. It just mustn't be something you can give. Unless I'm very blind. Black pearl is on mine. I've gotten a black pearl before. I remember I got it on day 1. Is it on the flower tab for you? I got it on day 1. That's kind of crazy that it's not on there. Is it because I've accepted the quest? Can you imagine it's because of the quest? It's like, you can't gift it. I don't know. I've gotten it once before. Let's check on the, like, all tab. It would be around here. So, yeah, look, it would be here. Damn it! It's okay. I've definitely gotten one before, though, so I don't understand that. But it's fine. We can go do it. We can go get it. We'll get it first try. First mushroom I open, I get one. You can only get it from the mushrooms, right? It's not from, like, the normal, like, what am I thinking the word of? It's not where you can get the other ones from. It's only from Elderwood mushrooms, I think. I missed Jack's OOTD. Yes, he said he had an outfit that he wanted your approval on before he posted the video of it. Looks like he got a home for one. Ugh, it's fine. Oh, the clown mushroom. Okay. So it is only those ones. That is fine. This way. We can go get one. But let's get rid of this stuff. It's driving me insane. We want that one, and we want that one. Well, she wants pallium and a glass bulb as well. Didn't tell me that. Hello? We don't need that. Oh, they're completed. Quests. Okay, those two. Okay, let's go. Let's go and get them. Oh, I need to drink again. You're getting a tickle in my throat again. It's driving me insane. Been fine for so long, and now my throat's just like, now that you're streaming all the time, I'm gonna be annoying. It's okay. As long as I have water, I'm fine. Just gotta remember to drink. Okay. I'm gonna find the, what are they called? Elder clam. Gotta go find elder clams. You better not be getting ill. I'm not. I've been like this for like 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks. I feel absolutely perfect. Trust me, I feel fine. I'm not getting ill. I just have a tickle. It's the same problem that's been there for like 5 years now. It just kind of like went away and came back. I'm fine. I feel okay. Don't worry. We're going to the seaside. Nothing is going to stop me from doing that. Okay, I think we might have to try and do some small. And we didn't fix my bow. Oh my god. Okay. It's okay, we got this. I need to just try and stay in one place because anywhere else is just not going to be worth doing it. Oh. It moved. Where are they spawning? Nice. No, don't give me that. Give me the elder clams. What do you have? Wait, now that I've actually gone to a different, like, thing. Let's see if it works. No. It's still not there. I've definitely gotten the pearl like 3 times. I don't know why it's making it out like I haven't. It's kind of crazy. It's like, yeah, you've never had a black pearl before. Pretty damn sure I have. What? Okay, so apparently you can't shoot that from there. That is inconvenient. Where are the other ones? Oh, hello. There's not even really one place that's good for doing this. At all. I'll do this for a little bit and we'll just sort of see how it goes. And then I'll probably go do the shot plushie. Oh, it made me think I was going to be able to do a double. But it did not. Very annoying. But it's okay. We got these ones. How many have we got? 6. How many can we get? Is this about spot to do it? Okay, maybe it is. Maybe this is not a good spot. Can I try and get up on there? And do it? No, like why? Why can you not climb up that? I think I'll ever understand that. Okay, wait, maybe we can go up here. Oh. Oh. No, we cannot. So inconvenient. There we go. Let's try and do it now. See if this is a little bit easier. 2. 3. Oh. Okay, this is probably the best place for it if I think about it. Also, if we get a plushie from doing this, that would be amazing. If only. Oh my god, why is that one so difficult to get? Or is it multiple? Why is it like taking forever to do? I gotta go down in a second. Where did it go? Pop up in front of me, please. There you are. Okay, one more shot. We get it. Ugh. It's not giving me the stuff I need. No. I need this guy. Where is it? I don't see it anywhere. I wish you could double shot them. Oh, you can. You just gotta do it a certain way. You gotta do it a certain way, otherwise it doesn't work. Level 66! Please. No! Okay, we got 10. We've got 10. I'm gonna open this and see what we've got. And we might just switch between doing this and the shark. Is there a chance I get it with 10? It's not looking good. Okay, we didn't get it. Damn it. Okay. So someone said the Elderwood... What was it? It was the Elderwood... Elderwood Docks. Is where Hooky got it. Oh my god, scroll! Please! Oh my god, OBS hates me so much. What? Why do I have to do that? Wow. Wow. Okay, the Elderwood Docks. Where is that? Here? Maybe? Oh, I gotta go pick these up now. Because if I don't and it happens to be with plushie or something, I will cry. Okay, there's no plushies. But we have this. No. I honestly thought, hey, maybe we might get it. Nope. But let's try and fish over here. And see if it gives me anything. What's this? Why do I have a quest thing? What is the quest thing for? Oh. Oh, that's the drop. Okay. Okay. Maybe have a look on the Wikipedia though for the shark. Because obviously they come from different places. I think I've got one. And that's it. Yeah, we can get one from here. So let's try that. I don't know what I need to use though. Hang on. Using worm. Okay. Hang on. Do we have... No, we don't. We don't have it turned on. Also, I kind of forgot to do a pinned message in chat for the drops. That's ever so annoying. But it's okay. We might do it on the next ad break, just so it's there for at least the last hour. Okay, someone's shooting a flare. Oh, that's why. Okay. I think we do this a little bit and we can go back and do that. We can do this, we can do that. Which honestly, I could probably just go over there and do it all at the same time. Like, I do 10 clams, we do 10 fish. And try and get a black pearl and a shark plushie. That way I don't get too bored of like sitting in one place, because I hate doing end games sometimes. Sometimes it's nice when I'm just watching a film, like I don't even want to pay attention, but I want to play the game. Fishing is kind of nice to start there, but I get so bored now. Especially when I'm streaming, like I like running around and doing random stuff, because then it's like, it flows a conversation down. But when I'm just sat here doing nothing. Like, what even happened here, actually? It's like a shipwreck. Nope. No! See, this is why I don't like fishing anymore, because I always do it, like, too early. I hear a noise and I'm like, oh, need to reel it in. You're not a shark. You are very annoying. Oh my god. You are a nice, expensive fish, though. Oh. Hello, friend. I think they're struggling. Okay. We don't seem to be getting it just yet. You're getting this anchovy. Basically, what you're trying to say is you're fed up hunting the shrooms for the mushrooms, so I get the pearl. No. I'm gonna do this, and then we'll go and do that, and then we'll do this, and then we'll go do that. And then I'm doing 2 things from the update, a quest, and the plushie, but we're not just sat doing one thing at once. Because I don't like doing one thing at once, just sitting there and not moving around. I like hunting when we run, you know. We're running around and seeing different stuff, but I don't like hunting when it's stood still. Unless it's with other people. I like it when we're doing it all together, it's kind of fun, but on your own, still doing the schmoles takes a lifetime. I have got 3 pills in the time since the Elderwood update, though. That's what's annoying. I remember getting them. But I don't know why I don't have one. Hunt the shrooms, it's not starting still. It kind of is. Compared to, like, hunting the Elder Shernugs or something. Oh, Cernugs. Oh my god. Or, like, hunting, Ogafus. You have to run after them. So that's a little bit more, like, movement. And you have to run around and find them. Whereas with the schmol, I'm basically stood still or, like, in a very small space. A little thing over there is the only place. Is this guy's... Oh, I was going to say, don't tell me he's been stood there for 5 minutes. I feel terrible. Yeah, I don't think we're getting it right now. Is it between a certain time that this fish spawns? Hang on. All day. Okay. I'll do a couple more and I'll go try for the pearl again. We need 2 things. Or we want one thing, need another. So we'll try and get the one I need, but I also really want to get this little cutie because he's so cute. I want a little shark guy. But this is how many fish we've tried to do so far. So we need to... Oh, we need to open these. Okay. So I have all of these. And then those fish. So let's... Oh. Go back. I have a little bit of health still. I have a little bit of health still left in my bow. So. We shall see if I can get lucky. Honestly, I feel like the fact that I got 3 black pearls is ridiculous that now I don't have them. Wait, I need them. I need 2. Like, we can just run around and find them, but there's not that many that spawn, right? Like, that's 1, 2. Let's see. I don't know how... Oh, wait. There's quite a few, actually. Maybe we can try and just run around after them. I'd much rather do this than do that. You just need 1 for the level 5 arch. Do I? Because that's just inconvenient. That's just inconvenient. There's no reason for that. Why are they doing this? It's so much easier to get a regular pearl, though. Did they up the chances of the regular pearl now? Because that's insane. Okay. I don't know if these spawn anywhere else, really. Really don't remember. Except for around here. This is like the one place I know has them. But I don't pay enough attention when I'm in other places to see if they have them or not. Doesn't look like there's any over here as well. There's not good. Nope. Oh, there's one there. A sparkly one. Okay. I'm gonna go see if they spawn anywhere else. If it's anywhere else, I would assume it's at the grove. Because it has to be somewhere with like a swamp, right? So it's either the schmalls or the swamps. So I would have thought like the dock would have them. Or maybe even down by the water around here as well. That could be a place to get them from. I don't know though. We'll see. I'm gonna go... Wait. Which way do I need to go? I'm lost. I'm lost. This way. Yeah, through here. Okay. We can go back to... Is it this one? I guess this one. Yeah, maybe. Oh, no, this isn't it, but I'm just gonna go check by the water. This is why I need to fast travel. Because when I run around in the open, I never know where I'm going. But if I fast travel, there is no problem. I don't think they spawn anywhere else. Because there is not one in sight. Unless they're over there. Oh, there's some. We got them. They do spawn other places. Found a home for some shrooms. Okay. I'd still want the small plushies. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still kind of bitter about that. We did manage in the end to get the rock offer one. But every time the new plushies come out, I only end up with one because I'm like, okay, we got one. Let's not push the luck, right? I never try and get more because I always just feel like I'm never going to end up with another one. Let's go up here. And then it's up here, I think. So I'm gonna have to fast travel to the grove. There's no chance of me walking around to try and find the grove. That's just not gonna happen. Yeah, we found my way back. I don't like trying to climb up the trees to fast travel. That bugs me a lot, so I just don't bother doing that. If I can get back to the stables, I can fast travel to where I need to be. But I'm sorry if I keep yawning. Try not to. But, you know. Kinda can't help it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not actually tired, but I think it's to do with my breathing. My nervous system's like, hey, we can't breathe, so I'm gonna yawn. Make it make sense. Is there any around here? Any at all? Possibly? No, I'm not going down there. I'm not going down there because I can't get back up. It feels like they would be in the water rather than like near it. But I don't think that... Oh. All the way back up here? Seriously? That's insane. I feel like if there were going to be any, they would be in the water, but... They definitely do spawn in the deep wood, though. But they don't spawn here, or there aren't any right now. Yeah. There are not any here. That is okay. I think we might have to go back to the schmalls. But let's open these first. And see. Do I get one? No, I don't. That was such a tease. That was such a tease. It was like, no. Maybe this way. Okay. We're back. Let's see if we can find any before we go hunt for them. Quickly? Is that one? Oh, there's two over here. Lovely. Nice. What's that? Oh, we don't need that. Okay. Let's try up here. Wait, that's not one. I always think that is one, but it isn't. It's just like the head makes it look like it is. Where? No, I can't see that one. That's so annoying. I can't see them. Whenever the ones I need are like further away out underneath, it just doesn't give you any view. See them. Like that? So annoying. Like, where are they even spawning? Oh, down there. Okay, I need to shoot like a second after I've already shot. See if we can like hit it twice. Because it's like a timed thing. If you do it at the right time, it'll do it twice. But it's so difficult to do. Like, I'm not good with timing. See? No! How is that not hitting it? That's crazy. Okay, we gotta go collect these now. 'Cause if I don't, they're gonna all disappear. This way. Like, I would just run around after them and see how that works out, but I doubt it's gonna be very good. We got a spore. Two of them. Didn't get one from that though. I'm gonna try hunting some. Oh, I thought that said shadow shrooms. Really read that. Okay, we're getting spores. That is a good sign. Let's open these. No, open that. No. Okay. Oh, it's you! Hello! I wondered who it was. That's so funny. I had no idea. I gotta go and like heal my my bow though at some point. It's like a quarter left. I'll be okay for a couple of minutes. No, stop doing that. There we go. How did I not hit that? Every time I think I hit it, it doesn't like register it. Oh, that let me hit it twice. Okay. See that guy? That didn't register. That's amazing that it didn't register. Why does it never register that I hit my shots? I think it's like a ping thing, I'm not gonna lie. Does this in Valorant, and then when I come to PALIA I'm trying to hunt, it's like, ah, you didn't hit the shot, right? Right? I did. Swear I did. Oh my god, I honestly thought I got a plushie or something then. Which honestly, like, if I get a plushie instead of the Black Pearl, I won't be too mad. I won't be too mad about it. I think I'll be alright with that. I think I can live with that. Oh my god, it will let me just open them. Okay, let me get back up on here. We'll go. See one there. This guy keeps spawning over there. I hit him twice. I think I might have the timing down. It's just if they're further away, they're easier. You can do the double shot if they're further away, I think. Oh, they're spawning near me, but not where I can see them. Oh. There's one nearby. I have no idea where. I can just hear it. Why can't I hear it? It's such a weird sound. I swear it sounds like one of them. I can hear like the scuffled noise of the shroom. I can hear it, but I can't find it. So, let's get these a little bit organized. Oh, we have that too. I have so many mushrooms, but no pearls. These must be like the most annoying in my opinion. They may stay still, essentially, but they're never like fully still. You know, obviously they disappear and they move around, but they don't run off. But I find them more annoying than chappers. I think most people find the chapper annoying. But to me, these are worse. But I love them. That's the problem. Because I love them, I have to have them. Ad break starts in 3 minutes. Yeah, we got that one. Oh, I thought there was one there. Oh, pixie one. Nearly. Yeah, I gotta go pick up some of these. So many staircase mushrooms. Not enough clams. Give me clams. I don't need the staircase ones. I have plenty of those at home. We got an elder one. Oh, I thought I had that. I've seen double. I'm seeing people all wearing the same stuff. Okay. Should we try and go do the shark, maybe? I think that might be worth doing. Like I say, if I go back and forth, it means that we have a better chance. Because if I stay too dedicated to one thing, it never happens. I get frustrated, I start to hate it, and I love these shrooms. I don't want to hate them. Let's open that. Nope. Can I just fish here, though? I think I can. Oh, not right there. Yeah? Yeah. That's a little bit better than running back and forth. It's literally right next to it. Yeah, that's a better first fish than the last time. I did get like, what, 2 of these? Oh, do my weeklies too, I forgot. Because we don't normally do these for the fishing weeklies. I was like, oh wait, I'm getting medals. Finally, I have no fishing medals right now, I don't think. Okay, ancient koi seems to spawn around here this time. Very frequently if anyone needs it. Doesn't seem very difficult to find right now. Is it gonna give me another one? Yeah. Oh. Ad should begin any second now. The little timer just disappeared. Another one? No. Okay. No more ancient koi. The anchovies again. The damn anchovies. But I can hear all the shrooms from over here. Smalls. What are the chances I actually do get this within the last hour of stream? It could happen. Anytime I've needed something for like the relics and stuff, that was when I got them pretty quick. Like I got them so quickly that like we started fishing for like a certain like what 3 different fish. I found them all within the first 2 catch, I think. Like 2 or 3 catches and we got them all. But I know that the shark's a little bit bigger than this, so I know it's not that every time. What is that pink glow? I don't know what that pink glow is. When I pick up a fish, I have a pink glow. It might be bugged. Wait. This isn't the... No, this is ancient koi being annoying. Wait, do I have the thing on? Yeah, okay. Just double checking because it says it needs a worm. If I didn't have the worm on, that would be extremely annoying. Hello. I'm gonna assume you haven't got one of the plushies yet. Okay, why is the koi being so annoying all of a sudden? They were fine before. No, they're not. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a bug. I think I've got the problem with, when I do the ancient koi, it glows pink, obviously, because, like, it's pink, so it glows at night. But even when I get the anchovy, it's glowing pink. So I think anytime I reel a fish in, it glows pink. Honestly, I don't mind. I have the shark fin plush. Okay. That's not bad. At least you got a plushie, right? Even though it's a fin. Bit of a weird one. I do wonder who came up with that idea. You've got a shark! So did I! Oh my god. Ah! Please. No. We got the shark, but we didn't get anything else. How do they even work? Do you fish the plushie up? Is that how it works? Is it not like you get the fish and then you get the plushie as well? I didn't think of that. My god, you're getting all the sharks right now. I think the only time we've ever gotten a fish or a plushie from fishing was with the duck, where it looked like it was going to be a koi fish or a catfish or something, and it ended up being the duck. So I don't know what happens when you fish for plushies. I have no idea. I think I've ever fished for one. I've got the ancient fish from the machine, but I've never fished for one. I've got the shark and the fin plush at the same time. Oh. Interesting. I wonder if it's just like an extra thing you get with it, like 2 in 1. I do wonder what you would do with all the fins though if you had loads of fins and no fish. You just get the fin instead. Kind of funny. Bit of a meme. It's like, oh, we couldn't give you the fish plush, but we'll give you the fin of the fish. Who comes up with that? Okay, but why is it that the shark is actually cute? He's a shark. He shouldn't be cute. He's supposed to be scary. He's not supposed to be cute. Why do I find him so cute? Oh. Never little friend. I'm going to sell them all to China for the shark fin soup. Oh my god. Shark fin soup? Surely that's not like something you can actually eat. Like I've heard of some crazy stuff that like some countries eat, but like shark fins? What was it that I was thinking of? I swear, is it China? Like I don't want to say it is. I just like I'm thinking it might be, but like somewhere eats sea urchins. I think that's right. I think I remember seeing that some well I don't know what country it is, but they eat the sea urchin, I think. I don't know how, because if you step on one of those, can you imagine eating it? Ugh. Although all this talk of fish, now I'm excited for Friday. The one thing I want to eat is just fish and chips. It's so stupid. I can go like 10 minutes down the road and go get fish and chips. But it's different when you're at the seaside. It's just different. Also, the temptation of being near arcades as well is kind of a problem. I just realized that I'm going to be so close to claw machines that it's going to be so tempting to want to go to the plushy ones. No, I'm going to lose him. Stop! He's throwing a tantrum. Yeah, like the temptation of going to the arcade machines just to go and get the plushies out of them. I've never won one in my life. I don't know what makes me think I would win one now. Where you go? We're going to Scarborough. Just for the day. If I wasn't going for just the day, I wouldn't announce it on stream. If I was like staying there, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going away, guys. Not telling you where, but yeah, we're going to Scarborough. Just for the day. So I can get some fish and chips and donuts and rock and candy floss. For some reason, my brain like thinks of those foods as like the seaside food. Like even candy floss is a seaside food for me. I don't know why. I just remember eating it a lot when I got the fin. I got the fin. I don't think I got the plushie, but I got the fin plush. I'll take it. I'll take it. You know? Why not? That's a win to me. I'll take it as a win. Even if no one else does. That's a win to me. Still pushy. But that gives me hope that I might get the shark now. And then all we need to do is get the pearl. Now we gotta try. Never been there, wanted to years ago, but never got there. Are you not quite close by? You're in the east, right? If I remember correct. If I've not remembered that correct, I'm sorry. I could have sworn that you were east. That's crazy though. It's like, isn't it like next door? I haven't been in forever though. It's probably been like 20 years since I last went. Because it's like the one place that if you live in Yorkshire, like you're going to Scarborough at some point in your life. There's just, it's kind of inevitable, right? It's like that like one place that's like cheap and cheerful. Oh, Skegness is closer. My bad. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, Scarborough's like not very close, but you know, it's not very far away. It's just not very close. It's gonna take a decent amount of time on the train, but You know what? I don't care. I gotta think of what I'm doing on the train though, because I'm not the kind of person to just be able to sit and stare out the window the entire time. I can do that for about 10 minutes, and then I start to go a bit delirious. So I'm gonna take my in-ears with me instead of the, because these are the headphones I use normally when I'm listening to music or anything. Like, if I'm going to stay somewhere and I'm taking the train, I'll take these with me because, like, they're the best. But I can't carry these around all day. They're not heavy, they're just bulky and they'll annoy me. So I'm gonna have to take my in-ear earphones instead, but it's kind of annoying. Because they're not that good and they kind of hurt my ears a little bit. I got the River Shark Plus. You did? I'm jealous. I'm jealous. I want it. I got his fin. Oh. My god, I'm gonna cry. My shark got away. Oh, I've just seen a Fortnite tweet. Oh my god. Oh no. Every time I play PALIA, I get a notification for another game. I'm like, no, I can't look at that properly right now. You're your mum and you need your music. Your poor mum. She's probably gonna bring hers too. Because, like, I don't think she wants to hear me talk for 5 hours straight. Like, you know, like, on the train. Like, not one way, but, you know, for, like, a good maybe 4 or 5 hours total. Speaking the entire time. And the entire day. I think she'll have enough. Ooh, what is that? I think she'll have enough of speaking to me for, like, the whole day, right? Oh, we'll have fun. We'll have fun. It won't be the whole time anyway. And it probably won't be music I, like, do. It'll probably be, like, something... Probably watch something. I think I can just listen to music. I can't just sit there and listen to music. I'm a multitask type of person. I do 3 things at once. I do, like, 3 things at once. I'm not like, oh, let me put my music in and stare out the window. No. That's not enough stimulation for me. Honestly, on the way home, I'm probably gonna feel drained. So it probably won't be needed on the way home. I'll probably just fall asleep. But, you know. On the way there, I'm gonna need something to, like, hype me up a little bit. If I could, like, have a look at where we wanted to go and stuff, like, I could do that on the way there, but I think we're just playing it as we go. Plus, I'm deciding to be a little bit, what's the word? I'm risking it a little bit. I've decided, like, I'm not taking a jacket because it's going to be, like, 24 degrees. And if it's going to be 24 degrees, I don't think I'll need one. But this is the UK we're talking about. And we are going to be near the sea, so it could be the need for, like, a little jacket of some kind. Just, like, a little thin one. Just to cover my arms up if I need it. But I'm deciding to go without one. And if I need one, I'll have to get one while I'm there. Because, otherwise, I'm going to end up having to carry a big jacket there. Don't even like the look of the outfit I'm wearing. I don't want to do that. I just got the Elder Shark. You did not. There is no way. Are you being for real right now? I got a fin and you get 2 fish in a fin? That is not fair. Yup. Oh my god. As if. Give me one. I'm right here. I need one. Please, PALIA gods. All I'm asking for is one. All I ever need is just one plushie and I'll stop trying. Until a week from now and I probably want more. Real inch-like fish you get from the ponds. Okay, okay, so I might not even know I'm getting it. I might have lost it with that one, to be honest. No. No, just a shark. Just a shark. And then they keep giving me all these little anchovies. They don't fight, they just fall in the water, reel in. Oh, okay. I'll definitely know then. I'll definitely know then. Am I sure I haven't already got one? No. We have so many fish though, this is insane. Like, what? How many fish do I have right now? Fish and mushrooms. My music is so quiet, I can't even hear it right now. Oh my god. Ogapoo. Okay. We have like 40 minutes. I have hope I can get one. I'm kind of committed to it, I think, now. Now that you've got two and we both got the fin, I'm kind of like, this could be the place. This is where Hoki got it, I think. He said on the coast of like the other Elderwood dock. Which apparently this is where it is. So this might just be the place for people to get it. Please. Don't give me another anchovy. No. Do these anchovies even sell for anything? 60? Oh, the sharks sell for 180. That's not bad. That is not bad. Fishing might be a good way to actually make some money. I kind of forget that that's how I started to make money in the game, was fishing. But I remember the one way I tried to get money once when I was really down bad was just like cutting down trees. I had 0 gold and I was like, what can I do quickly? Cut down trees. Which is kind of a valid way of doing it, if you think about it. Oh my god. You guys fight for what? Stop biting me so much. Give me the damn plushie. Just one. Just one and I'll go get my black pearl. Okay, I find it very hard to believe that there was a woman that put on Facebook and she was like, oh, my 6-year-old was like asking could I play the game while she was playing it, and she was trying to fish for one of the sharks, and the shark came up when she started to fish. A 6-year-old managed to reel in the fish perfectly. And yeah, I'm struggling. But yeah, a 6-year-old was like, perfect. Like, how? Honestly, I think sometimes as kids we have more skills than when we grow up. Like, I think it's because, honestly, speaking from my own point at least, I feel like I just struggle with stuff more because I overthink it. Then when you're a kid, you just kind of do it. I got another fin! That counts as something, right? I got 2 fin plush. Someone asked me now, like, hey, have you got the shark plushie yet? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I have like 2/5 of it. Got 2 of the fins. Just no body. No tail. Just the 2 sides. I've just realized how much these actually do kind of remind me of Ogre but water Ogre. You know, like the opposite of, like when people say that, like staffies, I think it is, that remind them of like land seals. They're like a land seal. These guys are like the water Ogre. I know the Ogre kind of do just dive into the water, but they're not fish. So I'm gonna look at them as being water Ogre because they kind of remind me of them. They're just as goofy as them, to be honest. Like the way that they like throw a paddy every time you try and catch them. So you're getting all the parts to build a shark. It's like Build-A-Bear, but for a shark. Put them all together. I don't know what I'm going to do with the fins. Maybe they thought about people putting them in a little pool. You could put them as like as if there's a shark in the water. I guess you could do that. You could do it with the water as well, like with the tables when people sink the tables to make like a river. You could use them as like as if there's a shark in there or something. Someone will come up with something cool. Like I'm trying to think who it would be that'd probably do something cool with them. Oh, my mind has gone blank. I forgot people's names. I forgot names. Blurzy, that's it. And then probably like Horrible Game, you know, something they'll do like a cute PALIA build with them. Those rely on people like that to do cute builds or stuff like this. Like I never come up with an idea and I see them do a video or a post and I'm like, how did you do that? I need to get back to doing stuff like that. I used to like every update for a game, if they had decorating, I was like on it. I'm so like lazy with my decorating now, it's insane. Like once upon a time I had a fully decorated Dreamlight Valley. It was fully decorated. And then I just destroyed the whole thing. Because it wasn't efficient. At least in PALIA you don't have to be efficient with how you decorate. You can just decorate. Because in other games like Dreamlight Valley, if you decorate a certain way and then things spawn on the ground, it spawns behind where you decorated. And the only way you can get it is removing the decor. And then getting the item and putting the decor back. And it just ruins things. So, at least in PALIA, you can just decorate and not care about consequence. The only consequence is it might get destroyed in an update. I don't know what's worse. I guess the consequence where the entire build gets deleted is probably the worst part. I haven't got a shark in a while. How many ancient coins do I have now? Oh, I have that many. I actually thought I had more. Okay. Manifesting it. I will get shark plush before I end stream. Now stop getting saber-tooth anchovies. My god, I've never had anchovies so much in my life. Please? No, it's a normal shark. My god. Possibly the most annoying fish to catch. Holy crap. Statue 2. I should probably try carrying my stuff around. I might get on one day, like off stream, and just try and trade all the extra, what is it, relics that I have. 6 months later, well, not trade them. I don't need them, but give them away. 6 months later, yeah, you finally get the shark plush, you know, I can end stream. Can you imagine? There are people that do that. I have high respect for people that do that. Tony. Got it! Oh my god. Finally, this is how many fish it took. Oh my god, where's my mouse? My god, now my mouse is wireless. I always lose it. River shark is not to be feared. Unlike its friend, the lone shark and the card shark plushies. Oh my god. Just the elder to go. Is there only 2? I still need the other frog plushies, to be honest. But I'm not, like, trying to get them too hard. Because, like, sometimes I just get so frustrated that it makes me not want them anymore, you know? I try not to do something too much. That's when I start to hate stuff. Like, I was playing Valorant the other day with randoms, obviously, because I just play solo. But there was a kid on the other team. And every time he got killed by someone, he was like, oh, great. And I was like, I wanted to say to him, like, I think you should take a break from the game. I'm not gonna lie. I really think you should take a break from the game. Like, I have been hard stuck in Valorant for years. But the reason I just don't care too much now is because I don't play it every day. There are days where I do play every day. And then there are months where I don't play at all. That's how you just enjoy a game. By not being so obsessed to the point that your brain gets fried. Like, that's why I've grown to hate games sometimes. You love something so much, it becomes to, you know, turns into hatred. Becomes no longer fun. It's not worth it. That's why I only let myself do so much of something now. The fin and 2 other sharks, but I think there are also the male plus shark, but could be wrong. It does say that there are 3, I think, on the description. So I think that, yeah. I think it's 2 of these ones, but it's referring to the other one too. The mouse one. It is really quite funny though when you get it and that guy's doing that. But when you get the plushie, it's like, ah, easy. I do think, oh yeah, that makes sense. Easy to tell which is which. One's like flapping around, throwing an absolute paddy over being caught, and then the other one's just like, oh, cool. Don't mind me. I like how everyone's also kind of just like trying to do the relics now, and I don't need to do them, so I'm just obsessing over a shark. Like, does anyone have these really important things that I'm gonna need for the entirety of the game to actually get somewhere with a storyline? No. Does anyone know where I can find the shark plush? That's quite funny. I like the priorities being right. I got my priorities in order. I have the feeling that we can get this other one, though. I will get it. Feel it. That's not it, obviously, but... Okay, maybe he'll have another fin. If not, I almost lost that guy. Nope. I will get it. I will get the other shark plush. Hi, friend. I think it's starting to become a problem. I call everyone friend now. Everyone is my friend. Like, hi, friend. Is it? No. It's just the shark itself. Hey, at least I'm gonna make money out of this. And hey, if I don't get it today, then we try again on Monday. I don't even remember if there were plushies for any of the other fish. I don't think there were, but I could be wrong. I wish I could stop yawning as well. I'm not even tired. I actually have a lot of energy right now. Although that's kind of weird. I think I drank a different coffee today. I wonder if one of them actually has more caffeine in it than the other. So I have like the same amount every day, but I had the Beanies coffee today. It was hours ago, but I feel more awake today than I have all week. And all week I've been drinking... Is it Nescafe? Like the caramel one. So I wonder if like this one's better in terms of caffeine. So I feel a hell of a lot more awake today. But my body's just like yawning. I don't know. Apparently it means it's trying to regulate my nervous system. Which makes sense. But I don't understand why I'm so awake. So I already know. This is the thing that happens. When I eat a lot of sugar, I get like a hangover from the sugar. So I kind of have this feeling that on Saturday, when I wake up, I'm going to have a sugar hangover. Because I can't help it. I don't eat food like that very often, but going there, I'm going to be eating like anything I want. And I can feel the headache coming on already. I remember last year when I was streaming on here, I said, hey guys, I have a headache. I don't know why. And then everyone in chat was like, didn't you eat like a bunch of sweets yesterday? I got called out by my own chat. And I was like, oh, that was why. Love being called out. I leaked the cause and didn't even think about it myself. Oh my god. But I remember when I first started to play PALIA and I tried to fish, and this is before I liked fishing because I'm kind of like in the middle now of fishing, I think, after today. But when I really, really liked fishing, it was after I realized I was doing it wrong. So when I fished for the first time, I didn't realize you had to hold the click button to reel it in. I just kept going side to side, thinking it was going to do anything. I had no idea you had to hold down the button and pull it, like, side to side. I was like, this sucks. I'm so bad at fishing. Why can't I do it? That might be why. That might be why. Oh, the other person gave up, I think. I wonder how long some people have been live trying to do the new plushies. It's got to be someone that did a long stream yesterday to try and get them. You know, like not stopping stream until they get it. But with like terrible luck. God. If I did that, I would be live for like literally, like you said, 6 months. I don't think I would ever be stopping stream. Do we need different stuff for the Elder one? Or is it just the normal worms? So I'm currently using regular worms, but I don't know if I should be using glowworms. Okay, I got another set of medals. So that's good. You would think, actually, this is something funny. I feel like if I have 2 monitors, you'd think, oh, you can get things up on your other monitor, right? When I'm streaming, sometimes I wish I had like an iPad or like a third monitor or something. Or like not a third monitor really, because I feel like having a third monitor wouldn't matter. Can catch them without, not totally sure though. Okay, I can double check in a sec. I feel like if I had an iPad, my phone is so small I can barely see it when I'm like streaming. It's like, I don't want to pick it up. I just want to like use my hand while it's sat there. That sounds so lazy of me, but like to pick it up, I have to then be like that. And I don't like that. It looks rude, right? So I'm like, if I had an iPad, I'd have it set up so that it was like a third screen, but it wouldn't do anything to my PC while I'm streaming. And I wouldn't have to look like I'm just ignoring you guys, like typing on my phone. It's like, even if I do this, you could tell I'm on my phone. So I kind of like, I wish I had an iPad. I just don't have like it in me to buy one. I feel like they are just extremely expensive for pretty much no reason. Like, why does my phone cost the same as an iPad, right? Now, I could get something that isn't an iPad. I could just get a normal tablet, but I don't like Android. I almost refuse. I'm always on the lookout for, like, iPads going on sale, though. It would be great. One day there'll be one on like a very high sale. It'll be great. And then I'll have it like set up like on like a little thing. You can get these like extenders so they come out of your PC. Not your PC, out of your monitor, and you can have it like set up like a third monitor. I'm using glowworms the most. Oh, okay. We might try doing that. Elder Shark Plush. Okay, so it's the mouse. Yeah, glowworm all day. And down here. Okay, we'll try that now. I need to do my rod soon, though. I'm kind of running low. I think we'll fish until my rod's about to break, and then we'll probably end stream around there, because we have like 15-20 minutes. I'm not even sure I've caught the mouse yet. Mouse? Whatever it's called. Whatever it's called. I'm kind of done trying with the pronouncing of words when it comes to PALIA. Let's see if I can get it. Mao shark. Mao. Maw? Mao? I'm trying to think of like jaw, but with an M. Or. Maw? Why is English such a confusing language? It's such a confusing language. I don't understand. Like, it's my own language and I still can't speak it properly. I honestly swear that some other languages are just so much easier. I'm really glad that English isn't like a second language that I'm trying to learn, because can you imagine trying to learn a language that has like 5 words that all mean different things, but they all sound the same or look the same? Almost like more. Okay. Because I don't actually say more if we're talking about like the place, right? If you're talking about the Yorkshire place, right? I don't know how to say it without saying it the way I say it. I call it the moor. So if I say it like that, I'm just gonna have people take the mick out of me for it. The Yorkshire moors. Can you imagine the moor shark? That sounds so bad. Hopefully you guys can understand that that's why I try my best to not speak too casual on stream, because some of the things I say are ridiculous. The accent sometimes is too funny. That's why I struggle with pronouncing words more than anything, I think. It's because, like, when I grew up in school, like, my teachers, a lot of them were from... not actually from my town. A lot of them were from, like, Manchester or Sheffield. I don't know why they travelled so far to teach. It's insane. Big respect. But the difference in how we would all say words, I think, messed with my head. So I've just taken to speaking like actors. And the problem is as well, I grew up watching Disney Channel. So I've got the Yorkshire accent, I've got the stream accent, I've got the, like, public voice accent. It's like having a phone accent. Oh, I got another one! I got another one! Wait! Is that one... Wait. I got 2 river shark and a lake shark. Wait. No. Oh, it's the same one. It's the same one, but you know what? I don't care. It's okay. We got 2. Let's go. We got 2 fins, 2 sharks. This is so good. I'm gonna run out of space though. That is a problem. That is a problem. But yeah, I blame like so many like things for the reason why I talk like I do. So that's why I have like a phone voice on stream. I still slur my words unintentionally. But like, you guys would not understand me if I just relaxed my voice completely to like my regular voice. So I don't know if my mom's still watching, but even you can't understand me sometimes. I got a second fin. I have 2 fins and 2 plushies now, so we're kind of at the same level. I honestly thought you were going to get all the plushies, now we're going to get none. That would have been really sad. I do love this, though. I love when there's so many people just, like, doing one thing at once. Like, that makes me really happy. There's, like, an event on the in-game or something, and there's just, like, a bunch of people doing it together. I don't know why. I think it's cute. Like humans being cute. Plus, we're all getting a buff anyway, so... why not? Oh my god, is that the pumpkin gold harp up? Because that is so cute. Okay, we got like 10 more minutes to get like another plush. We also have not watered my trees today at all, except from the beginning of the stream because I forgot. I've been doing this for 2 hours. I don't think Tish and Kenyatta are going to be going to that concert anytime soon. By the time I get them the pearl, I don't think the concert will still be happening. I think it'll be long gone. But I think after today, I don't mind fishing too much. I think it's okay. I think I can get on board with it again. I think I can do it. I could try and convince myself that I don't hate it anymore. I think I'm on okay terms with it again. I think I just had to do it. If I don't do something, I obviously can't really have an opinion, right? Like, if I don't fish for 6 months straight, then yeah, I don't have an opinion. Not allowed. I've never looked to see if you can find the request. Okay. Let's see. Nope. Nope. It would be here if I could. So apparently I have never gotten one before. Even though I have. Even though I definitely have. So if I do not find one after looking a lot, then I'll have to like send a ticket in and just say like I think it's bugged. Some people do have it bugged where they couldn't find something for like a year of playing and it turns out their account was bugged. That's why they couldn't find it. Weird, yeah. It could be a bug. So I'll just have to see if I can find it. If it's been too long, I will report it. Hopefully they'll fix it, but... apparently it was a bug that a lot of people have run into with stuff. I don't remember what it was though. That was it. It was the pebble. A lot of people couldn't find the shiny pebbles and stuff because their account was bugged, and then they I I can't fish. I think I'm done. I think I'm done. I have too much in my inventory. It won't let me fish. Yeah, that was one of the pebbles. Yeah, luckily I never had that problem. I got all of them before it became a problem, so. Thank you for fishing with me, though. Hopefully you get more plushies. But I am gonna go back to my plot and water my plants and stuff. And then sell all these fish, because I got a lot of fish. But good luck with the rest of the plushies, though. There's probably gonna be like 15 people by the time we go back there in the week. Got all the pebbles, but I didn't register that I had. I didn't either. I didn't think they were that important. And then all of a sudden everyone's like, I can't find them. I'm like, oh, I can. Oops. Didn't realize that we couldn't find them. Wasn't actually sure that people were wanting them, you know? Okay, we're gonna have to go to Zeki. I have too much. Because this is not going to fit in the bin. What do we need though? Yeah. Okay, we have enough of those. Or in fact, we need to keep these because we can turn them into leather. I keep forgetting. What? I just put in a ticket and they gave me the reward. Wait, I got all the pebbles, but it didn't register that I had. Oh, it didn't register that you had. Oh. So they just gave you the reward? I mean, that's good. At least they did that. They could have said, well, we don't care. At least they fixed that. Okay, I don't know why this is still a thing. Like, what? In fact, I'm going to keep a stack of 5 of fish, I think. Let's see if I have more than 5. And I keep a stack of 5. Just so that I have them if I ever need them. Because I have this feeling I'm going to need them. I don't know why. But I just feel like I might. How many of these do I have? Keep that. Do I need those? Yes, I do. Honestly, I should keep that. Then we're gonna put this guy in the little tank. Oh my god! Look at him! Look at him! Okay, he's so cute. Look at those eyes. I love him. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Probably we actually got it. I honestly didn't even really expect to get it. I'm not gonna lie, I fully thought that we weren't gonna end up finding it. And it was gonna be like a failed stream. Pretty much. You know, like, no chance of me finding it in the whole 3-hour period. But we had a success. Nope. That one doesn't need watering. Okay, I'm gonna water these and then go and sell everything. Check on the crafters, add anything into the crafters. And then I shall be going to eat. Let's put these in. Like that. Why would that go in? Oh, it's that one, that's why. Oops. Oops. Don't need anything in there. Need you in there. I'm gonna have so many light bulbs soon. And we could sell that. I'm gonna... No, I'll put it in there for now. Don't need anything in there. Do this. I'm on my storage bar if you want to see the new landscape. Ooh, wait, yeah. Yeah. Let's do that real quick. Let me get my mail. I don't know what this is gonna be. Okay. Hang on. Realize at this time, possibly literally, the kids are all doing better now thanks to the medicine Zed snuggled in. Though I have to confess he may have also used the seal for a couple of personal ventures. For example, there may or may not be a statue of him commissioned for the city square on order of the Duchess, but I expect the gravy trainers to stop when Eshe reports to start missing. Honestly, here I came through for you. I'm not sure anyone else would help me out the way you did. I feel like I can relax around you. It's nice. Oh my god. Okay. Let me just pop these in the chest. And then I can come over really quick and I'm gonna sell all these fish. Okay, how do I do this again? I never know how to do this. I go here, right? Right, there we go. I don't do that very often. I just stay in my own house. I've only ever been to like 3 people's houses for like cake parties. That's about it. In fact, I think the only time I've ever been to another plot is yours. Whoa. Oh. Wait, this is kind of pretty. I ain't gonna lie. Wait. I like this too much. I didn't think I'd like it. But it's like the night sky. Look at that. Uh-oh. Tony, you've caused a problem. I think I like it. I think I like it. It's not a good thing. Uh-oh. Well, I'm gonna give it until the weekend. Whoa. I'm gonna give it till the weekend. But, I think I like it. There's built-in mushrooms and like the, like... Is it the spores, would you call it? Like, on the stone? It kind of looks like the night sky. Oh my god. At least you know it won't be a waste of money if you buy it. Yeah. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. This is so pretty. Uh-oh. Okay, I'm gonna go and, sell these now, but thank you. I think I need it. Damn it. I think that one might look better than the other Elderwood one, actually. I think it's super pretty. It could be good for, like, a dedicated mushroom plot, you know? Everything's surrounded by mushrooms. Like a... I don't know. Dedicate it to the mushrooms and the frogs. I think it's stunning. It actually is. I didn't expect it to be that nice. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it wasn't gonna be that good. I was like, it looks alright. It'll be alright. I'll see. Now I kind of want it. Now I kind of want it. It's very calming. It's kind of like the vibe of when you first got to the Elderwood. And I walked in and everything just felt, even though it's supposed to be a very dangerous place, I was like very calm when I first went. I'll have a think. We might buy it on Monday. Or over the weekend. I'll have a think. I think I may be a little obsessed. Like, we have built-in mushrooms and then like the night sky type feel. It's a dangerous game I play by playing this game. We made about 10k selling all that. Let me buy like one of those. In fact, let's top up my worms. Why not? Why not? I'm gonna stock up on all of them. Okay. Let me... on here. My phone ready. I like to be on my phone if I'm gonna raid anyone. So I can chat. Do we raid? I might run actually instead of raiding. I don't know. We might just run. Run away from the social interaction. No, I'm kidding. But I might honestly just leave stream there instead of raiding today. Okay, do that. Okay. I think we will leave stream as it is. I don't think we'll raid anyone today. I just put it on one of my empty pots, and it's so you're just walking around an empty one. Yeah, I can imagine. Even just having that on its own would be a vibe. Like if you use PALIA as like a ambience type of thing, because I do sometimes. Not gonna lie, I've been doing my like uni work with PALIA up, and not to play, but to like for the noise and like the feel of it, right? And that plot looks like one of the best ones for it. Like I'm not even gonna lie, it looks great. But yeah, okay. That is gonna be the last stream of the week, I think. I don't want to promise that I'll be live any other day this week, except for the Friday. Like, I don't want to promise that I'm gonna do a replacement stream, because it's probably not gonna happen because it's too stressful. I like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Any other day just freaks me out a little bit. So I think I will just say, if I do go live any other day, I'll announce it before I do it. But there's a chance that I will not be live till Monday. But have a good rest of your week and weekend. And hopefully the weather is nice for everyone. It's not too hot. And hopefully it doesn't rain too much. And I will update you guys on next week's streams on the weekend. And I will be getting some videos up. This stream will probably be up on my YouTube on Friday, I want to say. I try and get update videos up before the other ones, even though they're backlogged. Because obviously they're going to attract people more. So like, you know, if anyone's just joined and wanted to watch the rest of the stream, you don't have to wait too long for it to be on my YouTube. And you don't think you should have ads, to be honest, on YouTube in compared to Twitch. So thanks for streaming. Take care. Have a good week. Stay virtual. I will do. Have a good rest of your week. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me the good luck with the plushies. I owe you for that. And have a good rest of your week, everyone. I'll see you on Monday. Bye.